Hello and welcome back to another video about Honkai Impact. Today we are going to continue with the main story with Duskborg Apocalypse. This is the second part of the chapter 28 since I recorded it in one long video, in one long session. Found you. Who is it? Come out now. You will vanish if I take on a form. You've accumulated quite a few memories of yourself here after being separated from that person, haven't you? Unfortunately, that won't make you him again. You finally remembered who you are. You're well aware that you're incapable of doing anything worthwhile right now. That is, you already realize that you are nothing more than a stabilizing element that will get in her way. If you are who I assume you are, you will wreak havoc on her life more than I would. Perhaps, but that was also her fate, just as it was yours at first. Whoever inherits the Kaslana name must defeat Honkai at whatever cost, right? As I have said, it is fate. If you want to complain, just accept that the former you was too weak. For even more so now. The strange consciousness that had earlier permitted the space was now swiftly concreting on its intended victim. It erased the victim's inherent individual persona in an instant, leaving it just pathetic and wrapped flesh. Poor Siegfried, this persona fragment you left behind is now unknown to me. Those more accurate located memories will disclose to me what it is that makes her such a peculiar individual now. Meanwhile, the young girl was still immersed in memories influenced by the device. That was the day she had just acquired the Abyss Flower. Time goes by so quickly. You become an Esfang Valkyrie in the blink of an eye. Putting up the effort always pays off. It's a foregone conclusion, Overseer. For you it is, isn't it? But guess what? It took almost a year for me to bring you back to consciousness when I intentionally started treating you. You mentioned that I was badly injured in an accident as a child. And the reason that you were the primary doctor who treated me was also due to the fact that everyone else was at their wits' end at the time. It just so happened that I was experimenting with a new technique, a one-of-a-kind treatment that I developed by upgrading my prosthetics. Using thulium as a medium for manipulating stigmata, artificially promoting stem cell redivisions so that the matrix of the new living tissues can finally be equal to thulium. You're lucky. Of all the subjects who had this therapy, you're the only one that lived successfully and healed almost entirely and well above expectations. Even the only blemish that treatment left you with was this lovely, unique curly hair, like a winter pillow. I ignore the jokes for now. After all, without such an experience, I'm sure I wouldn't have been able to transform my body into a sword and reverse the Barbie universe into myself during the operation in the Sea of Quant. That's what they call a karmic coincidence. Life is full of surprises hidden for us in unexpected places, and the ability to locate them in time may be different between comedy and tragedy. That is why those who are fortunate in life should strive to live up to their destinies. That is true. It's just that we don't always recognize what we should be striving for. Oh, by the way, have you ever heard of the name Kiana Kaslana? No, is it someone from the Kaslana family? Well, sort of. There isn't much to say about her, except that her clone holds the Herrscher core of the Herrscher Herrscher of Herrscher of the Void. Sounds very dangerous. Not necessarily. She has a good father, one that who treats her as if she were his own daughter, that will ultimately offer her a taste of human affection. Don't you think that's fantastic, Donna? If only we could make the Herrscher core function as calmly as the bubble universe within you. Wouldn't the solution to Honkai be just around the corner? Had the souvenir of anti-entropy, the Herrscher of Reason, who fought for humanity, not been so petty, we wouldn't have had to go through all the trouble of trying to experiment on a clone of the Herrscher of the Void. Of course, this is not to suggest that the power of the Herrscher of the Void is insignificant. For example, she may be able to preserve the bubble universe of yours. The Herrscher of Reason. If the first Herrscher had chosen to fight for mankind, I believe Jigsaw would have long ago developed a proven strategy of uniting the Herrschers. It's a shame that that man, despite having a human heart, by chance made him his successor willingly and irresponsible when it came to important issues. You're referring to the situation in which anti-entropy has been acting against Jigsaw? That's right, let's talk about the second Herrscher of Reason. I killed his father for some pressing reason, and he still carries a grudge against me, persisting on battling me for decades. How should I put it? He's lost his father, but he still has me, right? I mean, I can absolutely be his guide, can't I? In the same way that I have fostered you. Oh, why am I getting carried away talking about it? This isn't good, this isn't good. Anyway, I'm a bad example when it comes to the first Herrscher. You might as well take a cue from me, Durandal. True saviors must be able to cut off all their emotions when necessary. An auto-apocalypse was incapable of doing so from the start. Overseer, are you not used to keeping your mouth shut, or do you keep truth hidden from the rest of the world? Did you use deception to exile me into the imaginary space just because you thought I was interfering with your goals, or did you do it on purpose and with ulterior motives? If the latter is the case, your weird behavior today makes sense, but your true plan becomes even more perplexing. Imaginary space, Honkai's origin, what are you really expecting? Yanga Donda Gina was in an unknown realm of consciousness, getting closer to the exit suggested by Genius. The adjudicator was still nowhere to be found, and she was no longer accompanied by her doll companions, who she unexpectedly encountered. The key is about to appear now. So he healed her 1 year. It seems like it could be that she is, and many memories of that have somewhat to do with Kaslana and the real Kiana, I would say. So not the body from where the DNA for our Kiana Kaslana came from, which could suggest that maybe Durandal has something to do with the real Kiana, or maybe even is the real Kiana, from all what we know. He at least looks very similar to Cecilia, and the current way she looks with the blonde hair. I can't feel anything. Am I dead? Cecilia, is that you? Are you crying? Sorry, Siegfried. I lied to you. This time I won't be able to go back with you. Take care of Kiana and make sure she grows up healthy.
セーフだ。写真を一緒に撮ってくれ。私のカメラマンにしばらくここに。
You used to run against the wind. There our freedom nourishes your lungs and purifies your soul. You left the family mission behind. At this moment you just wanted to know the world in your own way. Back then you thought you could do anything. Scream with me, Arahado.
セーフだ。写真を一緒に撮ってくれ。私のカメラマンに
しばらくここに。
Later you and her met unexpectedly. At that time you probably didn't expect that this innocent girl who made you worry about her would become a great mother in the future. You don't have to tell me what happened last night. I hate being involved in troubles anyway. It's very safe here. You can stay here for a few days and recover. No, I can't. I still have a mission to complete. I have to go. Go back to the headquarters. Wait, in your opinion, your mission is more important than your own health? Hey, I've changed my mind. Since you have to leave now, let me see you off. During the fateful encounter that day, you made her experience the taste of freedom. Oh, the picture on the screen is moving. That's how it works. What do you think? Games are fun, right? It's a pity that I was careless today and didn't get first place. Can I try? Of course, but don't be too upset if you lose. This is the latest game console and it's also the most difficult one. Even if you received a lot of training before, real fighting and playing games are not the same. Awesome, I win! You fell in love with her and vowed to give her happiness and freedom in your own way. Of course, you didn't know at this time that one day she would sacrifice her own life for you. Anyway, I have to say thank you this time, Grandpa. I haven't seen Cecilia's heartfelt smile in a long time. Thank you. My cute Teresa, you wouldn't think I did this out of good intentions, would you? I just wanted to know if a more powerful Herrscher killer would be born once the purified Scarlet bloodline and the Kaslana bloodline are combined. In 2000 you lost her. And 7 years later you lost the most precious treasure she gave you. The only spiritual substance you have left is something that is essentially contrary to your family mission. Siegfried, how much longer are you gonna ignore me for? Hey, stop there! I also would like to know, Miss Tesla, how long are you going to keep following me for? You're finally talking to me. It's been a long time, Mr. Siegfried. What have you got to say, Dr. Tesla? I have a family I need to support. 2 years ago, our anti-entropy tubes. If that's what you want to talk about, I don't want to hear your explanation. It was because you didn't respond in time, so Kiana. Sorry, we're really sorry about K423. Anti-entropy guaranteed my safety and Kiana's, which is the condition for me to give her to you. My deal with you has long since ended. Goodbye. Wait. I'm not asking you to hand over K423 to us. If you really want to see her as your daughter. I don't know what you're talking about, Dr. Tesla. If there is nothing else, I really have to go. Siegfried. K423, of who she is your daughter's clone. She still has the second Herrscher's genes and core consciousness in her body. You should be aware of that. But on the other hand, it's there is someone around her who can make her realize what love is, then the second harsher part of her may be suppressed. As long as you play the role of father well, you can continue to keep her by your side in the real world might gain some respite. The menu's owner slaps the table angrily. Play? What do you mean play? Unbelievable. Do you still remember that your name is Andy and probably not Schicksal? Whatever you see her as your own daughter or it's all out of pity, that's your choice. But what should I call her? Does she have a name? Should I just call her Siegfried's daughter? Mr. Siegfried, living in this world, in addition to being the children of their parents, they are more themselves. That's what a name does. It helps us know ourselves and hints at the path we take in the future. So I'm curious, what exactly are you going to call your daughter? Does she only deserve to be called K123 and not have her own name? Think about it, Mr. Siegfried. It's not just about you or your family. The whole world may be waiting for your answer. The series of memories are they? This is the memory of a person who failed to become a hero. Ooh. I'm the space itself. I'm also the will that secretly guides you to discover your own destiny all along the way. But you're not the one of these puppets. Of course I'm not. If I have to find a way to describe me, I should be the monument to destiny that provides you with the way forward. You want me to know what person's memory? That person's memory. Why? I remember you said your outlook on life is to take on the unfinished business of those who can no longer carry their own destiny. I must tell you that I don't like being summed up so rashly. If you really have something you want to tell me, how about you show me directly? That would be a little difficult. After all, there are things in you that even I think are very rare. They are resisting my power and providing you with guidance similar to my own. Why don't you see what they are trying to tell you first? The consciousness that had pervaded the entire space suddenly disappeared just now. This made the girl realize one thing. If she wants to question this suspicious existence, she wants to leave this weird space, she wants to return to the front lines and constant time. She needs to at least find a chance to talk to this mysterious being face to face. Now we are going to continue. Should I melt the ice? Of course, like the tale of dark fate, it isn't one time. This is the car's horn broke the silence of the twilight and brought a slight comforting breath of light. Yes, Kiana. That scared me. Dad, I didn't reveal anything, did I? No, you did a great job. No one would suspect a thing. That's good. But this scope is too hard. I almost forgot what we were here for. It looks more natural this way, and we won't be found out by others. What the 2007 latest anti-information manual says that when you're disguised, your best disguise is your usual self. Yes, and the usual Kiana can solve the cube either. Wow, you're so smart, Dad. Oh, wait, is that what the manual meant? The more details you have, the less likely your disguise is to be uncovered. That seems to be the case. Alright, hurry up and hide that book. Also, don't talk about entropy the whole time. You don't have to worry about that. Of course I know that we're working for Shiksai now. Yes, and the entropy is really, really bad. Darn it, I don't know how the entropy agents manage to get in. They are here to steal Shiksai's secret experimental results. No, it's not the time for jokes. I know. We've been careful to check this car with professional instruments. We still need to be careful. Someone might hear us. Then let's keep a serious attitude. Keep it serious. He and the young Kiana Kaslana, where are they? Playing to invade. Wait, when is this? Maybe that's... It could be that this is the day he lost Kiana, or is the real Kiana and managed to get the Kiana Kaslana, the clone, you know? But he says they work now for Pixar, so why would they break in there? Who knows? You will probably find it out. Alright, Kiana, go over to plan again. First, we set off from the family villa where we lived for several days and take the car to the research center, the outskirts of Cardston. After arriving at the research center, we'll go to your exclusive training room. There, if anyone talks to us, I just ask you to teach me Kaslana Gankata since you finally born. And then we enter the training room. We climb through the window to the idle locker room in the next building. We're going to put on a chemical protective suit to pretend to be a worker who maintains the equipment. Meanwhile, I hide in the west bin that you're gonna deliver. When everything is ready, we go to the testing scrap yard, and I can climb back into the core area to the test floor from the scrap pod there. During this time, you'll get a stealth combat mech, and I cut open a window from the inside of the test floor to get you in. Finally, we need to find the laboratory where the clone is and get her out of the hands of these bad guys. If we encounter interest, we have to find a way out. Great, there shouldn't be any issues. But you must remember that the more people talk to us, the more we have to keep calm. I know, look, it's been written in this Anti-Entrop Agent's handbook. The most important thing for performing stealth missions is to put on a poker face. No, guess what cards I have in my hand? Sometimes you're just like your mom. Alright, we don't have much time. Let's go. I don't think we come back to this house again. This memory just now seems to have happened before them, driving somewhere. The anti-entropy agent manual has been mentioned several times in this memory. The more critical thing is, that girl mentioned a clone and said she wanted to save her from the bad guys. In other words, that's the two memories are. Very good, you realize this without the help of the other power. I must say, I don't like to talk to someone who hides themselves. Just be straightforward. What do you want to see or get from me? We'll meet soon. I've said it before, I'm the consciousness of the space. Furthermore, I'm also the judge who provides you with trials. My current personality comes from a personality fragment you just saw and left here. Siegfried Kaslana. You're not like him at all. Maybe, after all, I don't have complete feelings as you humans do. However, since the conditions are pretty much already, it's time for you to see me face to face. Rise from your memories, Valkyrie. Both of your strengths lie in anticipation.
それを期待している。
もうすぐ終点に
What
着くのでしょ
to
うか。
go to the end? It seems more and more like she may be the Kiana. Otherwise I wouldn't know why these memories are playing now. Like, okay. The train galloped all the way in the moonlight in the middle of the night, and the iron wheels made a lazy beat on the lonely stairway.
ビアンカ、
Bianca,
まだ
why are
寝
you
て
still
ないの
up?
キラ先輩だっ
Aren't
て
you the
同じでし
same
ょ
senpai Kira? It's hard to fall asleep on the train bed.
すぐにリタは先
My
生と
fool
眠って
Rita
ま
is
すけど
sleeping
ね
like a baby. If that's the case, do you want me to
眠る
tell
前
you a
に
story
お姉さ
before
んのお
going to
話
bed?
を聞いてみない？ありきたりな
Not the
話じゃなく
ordinary
て
ones, but a story
あ
about
る
one
家族に
specific
限った物語
family.
なんだけど、ある家族
One
ですか？
specific family?
知ってるかも
You
しれ
may
ないけ
also
ど
know that
セ
Lady
シリア様
Cecilia
には
has
子
a
供がい
child.
るの。
If you add up the years,
そうね。
she should be about the same age
年は
as you,
あな
around
たと同じ
13. But I've never seen such a person at Jigsaw headquarters. What happened to her?
彼女は
She
生まれ
was
た
born
時
with
から
high
期待を
hopes.
寄せら
Even
れてい
Overseer
た。
Otto said that when
大
she
きくな
grows
ったら
up, she might become the
天命史
strongest
上最
Valkyrie
強
in
のバル
Jigsaw
キリーになる
history.
かもしれないって、それも
It
そうね。
isn't all that surprising. After all, her father was from the Kaslana family. Her mother had the
母親
purest
は
holy
シャニア
blood
テ
in
一
this
族の中で
Sharik
最も純粋な
Shariak
清潔を持つ
family.
方だもの。その子が
People
あな
all
たの
expected
必
that
需品だ。
such a child would become
崩壊を
another
終
Herrscher
結させ
killer
るもう
and
一つの
another key to
鍵
ending Honkai.
ですが現
But
状から
judging
考
from
え
the
て
current situation, it
そうでは
doesn't
ない
seem
よ
to
う
be
です。
the case. At least I
少
haven't
なく
heard
と
of
も
her.
彼女について
Indeed,
そうね。
having said that, it's probably
多分
because the
二
two
つの血が
bloodlines
合わ
have
さっ
an
て抑制効果が
inhibitory
出たの
effect
か
on
し
each
ら。
other.
生まれたその子
But the
に
child was
特
born,
別
no
な
one
ところ
could
は
see
何も
anything
なかった。
special about her. This made the
司教
overseer
様は
somewhat
少しがっか
frustrated,
りして
but
た
it
けど
made Lady
セシリ
Cecilia
ア様は
very
喜
happy.
んでたわ。
Why?
どうしてですか？その子が
Because
他の
in
人
this
と同
way,
じよ
your
うに
child would be able
普
to
通
have
の
a
子供時
childhood
代を過ご
like
せ
a
るから
normal
よ。
kid.
セシリア様
Lady
は
Cecilia is
シ
the
ャニア家
result
の
of
血筋の
Sherrick's
結晶
bloodline.
として
She didn't want her own
当然
child to suffer for
子
the
供
same
には
fate as
自
she
分
had.
と同じ運命をたどってたけど、
It's just
そ
that
の
if
子
the
が大
child
きくなっ
wants to
て
become a
自
guardian
分
like
の
her
意志で
parents
両
out of her
親のよう
own
な
will,
戦
she
士になり
grows
たい
up.
と思うようになったら、きっと
I think
セシリア
either
様も
Lady
他
Celia
の
or
ジークフリ
Siegfried
ード
would
もその
stop
子を
her,
止めないと
wouldn't
思う
they?
わ。それは自由の
Because
意
that
志
is the
の
result of
結果。
free will, right?
そうでしょうか。ええ、
Yeah, as long as it's someone's deliberated decision, even if they deliberately cater to their so-called destiny, it's by no means a life
体
controlled by
力によって
external
支配
forces.
された人生な。例えば
For example, in my hometown, there is a saying that everyone has a certain destiny determined by God at the very beginning of their birth. The meaning of each person's life is to search for potential destiny with their own will and to sublimate their personality in the process. If generations of people chose the same path by their own will, the path will be through as having some kind of divinity, just like the three major families of Jigsaw. That's true from a more positive point of view. Lady Cecilia is not afraid of such a fate. For her, the more important thing is, this is something that everyone must decide for themselves. Whatever they be, parents, elders, bosses, or anyone else, they have no right and cannot help another person designate the meaning of their life. If someone has to intervene in someone else's life, then they can only make everyone unhappy. She hopes that her child will have enough time to slowly find out the path she wants to take as she grows up. Yes, even if a person insists on the same dream from childhood to adulthood, the own journey is a necessary part. To make a person fully feel your determination, I understand that. You're so mature for a child. Isn't that fitting for the youngest A-rank Gregory in history? Also, as you said during the day, every industry has people who have their own persistence and excellence. Without a serious attitude as the foundation, without firm determination, no one can achieve real success, right? It seems you've said all that needed to be said, but as we were talking about the name Kaslana, have you really never heard of it? No. If you care about it so much, maybe you should ask Rita another day. After all, her work gives her access to more rumors and gossip. I see. It's okay. I'm just a little worried, is all. After all, Lady Cecilia didn't survive the second eruption. As for Siegfried, according to what you said, he's currently missing. If you think in this way, the child is actually a bit pitiful. However, there is always a way. Having lived in an orphanage, I understand that the pain of losing a loved one doesn't bring down kids like us. This will only make us more able to endure hardship, more persevering and hardworking than others. We live for ourselves and also for our families. This is both our persistence and our pride. We believe from the bottom of our hearts that if fate closes a door for you, it will also open another. Although I don't know what kind of dream this Kiana person has. I believe that it must be like me wanting to be the strongest Valkyrie in history. No matter how ridiculous people think it is, we could still gonna make it come true. Even if you fail, according to the captain, the hard work you put in the process of trying to prove yourself will eventually turn into the most precious wealth in your life. You're not alluding to my other career, are you? Huh? No, I wasn't thinking about that at all. Relax, I'm only joking. Don't take it seriously. Alright, I'm always too serious when I chat with others. To be honest, I sometimes envy the way you and Rita handle things, but when I give it a second thought, I also think, if I'm like them, how much time do I have to waste on things that I think are meaningless? What a random thought, Bianca. I feel like I'm being mocked. Is it just in my head? Not really. You're great in every way. Most people probably haven't received Valkyrie training when they are at your age. You entered the adult world directly at your current age. In this case, it's very important to have a clear sense of purpose. I think it's that and an unyielding character that will allow you to fully realize your potential in the future. The strongest one in history. This is something you can achieve just like Lady Cecilia did in the past. That Adel, she likes to compare you to someone named Cecilia. It's a pity that she's not a true benchmark of the strongest. You're finally starting to invade my memory directly. Do you enjoy the feeling of interfering with others? Enjoy? I don't feel that. Maybe Overseer can explain it to me, whatever he enjoys it in a similar way. How much do you know about Otto? It was your memory that told me. Apart from that, I can tell you that you were deliberately sent here by his power. But you don't seem to be working with him. Of course, he just wants his plan to go smoothly and to exclude rebels like me. The moment he put you here, he had mostly achieved this purpose. I'm just a spectator outside the world, but he's a clone, able to mess up the world's blueprint. You think there is a blueprint for this world? Oh, you seem to be pretty good at catching the truth through words. Fine, this isn't a secret that I can keep from you. However, on this topic, we don't have to stay in the cracks of the previous memory to discuss. This is the earliest place. Okay, let's discuss the remaining problems face to face. You look quite surprised. This tiny detail is not something you should care about. After all, I'm just a shadow that must cling to others to communicate with you. I am the will of this space, an extension of the stigmata. I know this explanation just sounds like a complex stack of terminology to you. As it is for you, stigmata itself is just a destiny from 50,000 years ago, engraved in the DNA. You think you have free will, but your freedom is often just an illusion, an inevitable result of a predestined impulse you or you. Now that you've shown up here, we'll defeat you. Don't you claim to be a trialist? You're so direct. But you are right, defeating me and you will have true freedom and gain enough power to defeat Otto. However, I'm afraid common attacks won't be effective against me. I need to defeat you under the rules of you said. You could say that, although I'm neither the founder of the space nor the rules. Everything I'm doing is just to guide his descendants, the success of the particular stigmata. The successors of the particular stigmata. Do you mean someone like Siegfried? Or does that include me as well? Siegfried, what a poor man. I can't help but feel sorry for him. He has clearly lost his chance to awaken, yet he still challenges me again and again. I warned him that it would only hurt him deeper. It would peel off more and more pieces of his personality. But he is as stubborn as a mule, just like his ancestors. Who's that? Who else could it be? His ancestor, Kevin Kaslana. His bloodline has passed on the special stigmata to this day, giving birth to his space and to me. You have fought him. I'm sure you understand what kind of being he is. You can see him in my memory? Of course, remember the monuments to the dark memories you saw along the way? They are the past that floats around you as the world space rises and falls, the waves that I create as I traverse of the sea of memories. It means that the more you explore this space, the closer and more bound you will become to me. If you're still wondering about the reason for this, I can show you some memories that you missed before I tell you. This may be more or less unfair to you, but since you want to regain your independence from me, it is something you have to deal with. Are you ready? Oh, Wagana, you're just in time. Overseer, this is... She is the child you rescued. She is very badly injured, so I have to implement a special course of treatment for her. So you think she will survive? She is a tough one, isn't she? Being hit directly in the head by the beast from a craft several thousand meters in the air and falling deep into the snowy mountains. After all that, she still had vital signs when you found her. What an excellent tendency she has. The thulium wrapped around her is just for stimulating and tensile repair. I don't even need to replace any of her bodily tissue. So she will totally be herself, not a strand of hair at that? That's definitely overstating a little, but it's the case for the most part. I don't need to create a thulium clone. She'd be the strongest Valkyrie. It's a blessing in disguise. What about Siegfried and Teresa? I will handle them. No need to worry about my family affairs. Yes. I can tell you ahead that I don't want her to be Kiana Kaslana anymore. She has the right to do away with all of that adult strife and set out on her true path to becoming the strongest warrior Shiksa has ever seen. When she wakes up, she will have a brand new name and a fresh start. She will be completely free of the personal vendetta that troubled her so much. She become a better and more beneficial character for Shiksa and for the future of humanity. I'm sure you understand, right, Miss Ragnar, Lord Borok? If she ever realizes that she has been outright deceived, what are you going to do then? That's none of your concern either, Ragnar, but I don't want to hide anything from you. So let me put it this way, when the time comes, I will give her a far more important mission than her personal vendetta. Once she accomplishes the mission, she will also achieve her revenge on me. It will be a happy ending for all. Don't you think it's a great plan? What you just showed me was Ragnar's memories. No, not hers. Kiana, no. Is this another form you can take? Just for a brief moment. Forms can last longer if it's someone you remember knowing. This memory does not belong to Ragnar. It must belong to Otto. Sadly, it doesn't. Remember what I said earlier? These memories are proof that you aren't bound to me. Put another way, this field I got can only hold the memories of the same group of people. For this group, the original stigma is passed down in their bloodline, and as such has left them deeply cursed and by history. Here, countless generations of memories, consciousness or subconsciousness, willing or unwilling, will spontaneously come to me and join the stigmata space named Kaslana, because they share this immensely special bloodline. So you're saying the memory I just saw is actually from a third party? That's right, it belonged to the child in the memory who was wrapped in autosilium for treatment. Try to recall what you've seen here so far. Dr. May's child, Carlin, and her daughter, Teresa, Siegfried and the child, they have the same blood flowing through them, as well as the same stigmata. Being in this imaginary space, I'm entangled with the stigmata space, with you. My memories are thus mixed with theirs, causing me to be unable to return to my original world, and all this is part of Otto's plan. It's a logical deduction. If your memories didn't belong here before you arrived, it's no coincidence that you are entangled with this space. As I said earlier, experiencing memories like that one would be somewhat unfair to you. Because being part of me, part of Kaslana's stigmata, is the basis for their existence. For some reason, they are not settled in my space, but in you. For better understanding, Miss Durandal, not only are you from the pure bloodline of Kaslana, but the memory I just saw was actually recorded from your own senses. You are the third party to that memory. In that memory, Otto Apocalypse called you by the name Kaslana. The girl experiencing mixed feelings, yet not because of the sudden knowledge of her origins, nor because the name has any special meaning to her. You are who you are, and it has nothing to do with your name. What's the big deal about family names? It's not a hand, or a foot, or an arm, or face. It's not an actually part of a person. What's the big deal about names in general? A rose by any other name would smell just as sweet. Even if Romeo weren't named Romeo, he would be just as gracious and perfect. He does not need any superficious title. The girl was having mixed feelings because she thought of Siegfried, whose life is full of regrets, and Kiana, who she has recently improved her relationship with. Kiana unleashed her will, courage, and life to give her name meaning. She realized that it's a complicated, hurtful secret. If the timing is not right, this truth will not do them any good. That is to say, before a truly appropriate day arrives, she could only let them continue to think that Cecilia's daughter had died 10 years ago. Yet this comparative safe plan has an unpredictable premise. She can't tell if Otto will maintain his typical silence during their duel soon to come. Yet she knows that she can trust the mature warrior Kaslana to not be swayed on this matter. Okay, let's assume that all of what you said is true. What does any of this mean to us? What could it possibly have to do with you and who might benefit from exposing it? It means something very simple, Miss Durandal. Now that you are here, you must completely unleash Kaslana's stigmata and use the power to defeat me. Even I have no way to get you out. So you wouldn't mind an experiment? To test whether or not you can only be defeated with the power of stigmata that you speak of. Okay, but I must warn you that what you're considering, Siegfried Kaslana has tried it countless times. Since it's your first time, I'll be merciful. But in return, I hope you will stop after a point. Okay. Yeah, no, that will not work. Well, I deal damage, but if this much it takes this long, I think I'm more dead. Stop after a point. I don't want to trigger any horrible defense mechanisms after all. Otherwise, you'll be buried deeper in the memory by his power. You mean like Kevin? Of course, since the day he decided to carry the weight of the world on his shoulders, you people have been forced to bear the fate of Kaslana. Thus I was born as the administrator of the stigmata. I follow the rules he set, ensure that salvation is your glory and salvation is your curse. Anyway, only by unleashing the stigmata once and for all can you truly approach him instead of being forgotten in the shadow of his legacy. However, you seem to be a bit different. Siegfried had no other better choice than you. Perhaps you will be different from him. Apart from Kaslana's power, there is something different in you. Do you mean other stigmata or some other forces? The latter. It made me hesitant. It made me take a deeper interest in you. It's like this memory. The owner of the memory is surrounded by warmth. It completely encompasses her body. It's like she has just woken up and her mind is filled with a blissful nothingness. Huh, she woke up. Shh, quiet. She'll lose her temper if she finds you being noisy. It's okay. Look, she's smiling, isn't she? Kiana loves Antares the most, don't you? Well, you're the better one after all. But why is that when I speak loudly You look intimidating and mean, so naturally you need to be more gentle if you want to be a father, isn't that right, Kiana? It's okay, Siegfried, don't get upset. Girls grow up, they gently closer their head. I'm not upset, sweetie. The way the kids are these days, I'd be lucky if she still thinks of me as her father. Hey, you said you weren't upset. Kiana, what are you going to do with your old man? Let's beat him up together, alright? Huh? I surrender. Your daughter must really love you, Sue. What kind of love is this? She only loves to hit me. That's good, so she won't grow up to be a dumb Kaslana. Hey, aren't you also a Kaslana? Besides, I'm not like a normal Kaslana. About that, you have to admit that Siegfried is better than us in this regard. None of us had the right to choose our own fate. But he was the only one that tried to affirm the meaning of his life in the world in his own way. No one wants their children to repent their lives exactly, but I hope she will follow in her father's footsteps on this matter. Cecilia. By becoming a mother, I found that I was proud of the similarities she has to me, but I was also sad about it. Proud of her gifts and the marriage, sad of the suffering and hurt it might bring her. I was once thrilled to find out that the overseer didn't think she was special. But if she wants to follow a similar path in life with to ours when she grows up, I won't stop her. After all, it is her life, and she should be the one to decide. As long as she is happy, as long as she can create a future for herself, even us, her parents, have no right to interfere with her well thought out choices. I'm not as articulate as Cecilia, but I get the kind of trust and attachment she has for us, even though she likes to hit me a lot. I do not want to let down such a pure and innocent girl. I have to help her and provide her with a chance to become a better person. I guess that's what being a parent is all about. Siegfried, it's amazing that you and a big booze of a man can say something so sensible once in a while. Hey, what did you say about me, you little runt? Hey, who are you calling a runt? The owner of the memory is surrounded by warmth. It completely encompasses her body. She seems to drift off to sleep again, and her mind is filled with blissful nothingness. In the depths of dreamland she smiles, crawling like a child across the path woven by the stars. Smiling is indeed a language common to all children. As the children who are tired from crying fall asleep, a smile shines like a seasoned moon on their faces. They may one day forget how to cry or how to whine, but they will never forget the joy that a smile brings to others. It is a feeling that has been presented since the beginning of humanity. It departs from the darkness before dawn, riding on the morning breeze to announce the advent of every life, and returns from the glory after dusk to guard the life of each children by the warmth of the campfire. A decade later, in the depths of dreamland, she cozily waves in between the narrow tarmac alleys of the neighborhood. The fresh air banishes the heavy gloom in her lungs. It was June, and white firstless grow taller than other weeds, lining the wafered stones of the road. There are purple, thorny, proud, and stubborn flowers that can grow unrestrained in the poorest of conditions. The bees are busy flying between the flowers. She smells her mother's scent, neither knowing when nor where. Perhaps it was all just some kind of strange dream. But at least in this dream she is sure that what she had been long settled and yet forsaken is sleeping inside her body, much like a time capsule. The sea swallows lay freely in the sky above. She smells her mother's scent. I must admit that this is the last interesting category of memory for me. The Kaslana family carries the original stigmata. You were bound to this family from birth. The so-called choice is nothing more than an illusion brought on by an impulsive engraved in you. Will saving the world really make you happy? What does being a defender of people bring you? You are just living in his great legacy. You abstain from the sweetness of life and partake in the bitter fruit that is this curse. Since the day he decided to carry the weight of the world on his shoulders, I have witnessed your repeated fate again and again. Each one of you is following in his footsteps. An entire life abandoned for the sake of the world. Like Sisyphus' hair. Yet you chose to feel this memory with me. Because you had a great mother. She might not be the strongest warrior, but she always managed to protect you. She has never left you. She exists in the blood that flows through your body. My blood? Remember what Dr. Otto told you? He said that your Honkai energy resistance grows with the amount of Honkai energy you are exposed to. This is the same power that countless generations have dreamed of. It's the goal of Project Stigma and the true purpose of the Holy Blood. To break the boundary between the imaginary and the real, to harness Honkai and embrace the truth in flesh and blood. This is a different path from the Herrschers. The Herrscher have long been labeled as imaginary. Eco is not able to do this because it's just purely inhuman variation. Not to mention the ordinary Kaslana or Shariak. Their flesh is simply not in tune with the originality of the world. This is something that only you can do, something that only you can succeed at. This is the original reason I became interested in you. The value of your life is far greater than the Kaslana name. The name is married with numbering, empty and bothersome tragedy and cannot be save the world. That sounds remarkable, yet are you sure you have everything right? You've seen so many memories that you have forgotten something crucial. It may seem to you that there are many people like Siegfried who continue to repeat the fate of their ancestors over and over again, yet can never get it right. But that's just the outcome of their lives. Regular outcomes do have an absolute meaning. Saving the world is absolute. True, saving the world is not the only thing that has absolute meaning. What is a life that never reaches the extreme, nothing more than a tiresome story that can be diminished with words like numb and empty? Because you are the will of the stigmata, you have the opportunity to see the lives of all of them. You should not forget that all the memories you have seen belong to living creatures. They belong to human beings who chose to carry the weight even amidst the stress, pain and despair. The value of the lives are never as simple as you see them. Siegfried who regrets his life to this day, and Karlin who has hanged with a noose. Were their lives pointless and their past lacking value? You're trying to convince me that everyone's life is successful or not deserves respect. But I am the will of the stigmata. I am a lord that has worked the same for 50,000 years. If you want to slightly change my perspective, the first thing you should do is to master yourself. Siegfried Kaslana, fallen prey to his own rashness. Scarlet Kaslana, taken down by her own frailness. There I haven't been able to connect with the ancestors' origin. Conquer yourself, leave behind the past. Perhaps they really did loosen themselves at some point. Loosen themselves at some point. But it isn't owning to their weakness, but rather that they were at the front of history. They left behind signs of those who followed and legends of themselves. They were like silent cars upon whose shoulders we gazed at the future. 5 years prior, during the moment of crisis, I said something similar to my partners. What does that I love? What does that they love? For all those who can truly be called human. They made it so I might live as I do now, and I am willing to give everything to keep them safe. Compared with the impact of these people, what proof of a hero is a momentary success or failure? To have one success or fate, is that what they could never win over themselves? You cannot deny them, not anymore. Finally the damage boost. I thought we would never get there. With this destruction and dissipation of the illusory body conquered by the will of the stigmata, a boundless sense of dissolution once again overwhelms all of her senses. Unlike the other static memories she had experienced before, She sensed an aesthetic and silent will that is cooled up in the depths of the dissolution. As if to respond to her attention, the will stretches out, choosing a corner in the bleakness to allow his form to manifest. We meet again after 6 months.
あなたは
Yet you are not
彼
him.
ではありません。
True, I'm just his shadow, a bubble that stays here to watch over this particular stigma. I'm the most basic part that remains after discarding all the external personalities you have seen before. You know what I am going to do next, and I know that about you too. I can't maintain this state for long, and this is probably the only chance we have to communicate with each other. If you have any questions, ask now.
さっきのあの
Compared
石
to the
よ
will from earlier,
り今の
he is
彼は
much more
随分
frank.
と素直ですね。とにかく
This might be a great
これは肝心な
opportunity
情
for
報を
me
手
to
にする
get as
絶好の
much
チャンス
critical
かもしれません。
information as possible. Mm.
今まで
You seem to keep implying that Kaslana's stigmata are completely
他の成
different
婚と
from
は
other
全く違う存
stigmata.
在だと
Yes. Kaslana's stigmata is not just a set of genes passed down from generation to generation. It also includes a series of organelles that originally belonged to the Honkai beast. Just as most plants rely on chloroplants to carry out photosynthesis, these organelles, which are unique to Kaslana, ensure that Kaslana's stigmata do not rapidly decay after generations, and ensure that each offspring has the opportunity to awaken to its true power.
その言い
Does
方
this mean all members of the Kaslana family are not ordinary humans in the biological sense?
生物学的に
That depends on what angle you interpret it from, or through its two special genes and organelles, which make you underlying physiological mechanisms quite different from the norm. The mitochondria or the chloroplasts of ordinary organisms are also originated from certain bacteria that settled in the cells by chance. Kaslana's bloodline is not different from any of them. If you don't suffer from misophobia, then there is no need to suddenly feel like you're some strange ancient creature. I heard that the Kaslanas have a family trust that will help them
窮地に陥った時
when they are in desperate
彼らを助ける
situation.
と聞きました。その意志
Are
と
you the family trust?
あなた
That depends on how you see it. My job is to help them awaken to the power that lies within the stigmata. The rest is either because of the stigmata itself or their own perseverance, as you said. Besides, when accidents happen, the real version of him will come and take over my duties. But that was just past the time when he was sealed in the Sea of Quanta or on the edge of the world with nothing to do. Now that he's regained his freedom, I don't think he have much interest in anymore.
それって
You mean he has
彼
abandoned
が
his
自分の
offspring?
子孫のことを見捨てたという
That also depends on how you see it. To him, he was carrying overwhelming guilt, so he chose to stay away from his blood relatives.
成婚計
Project
画
Stigma. Yeah, there may be more to it than that, but I have no way of knowing anything else. After all, I'm not really him.
あなたは他人
You
の
can
姿に
easily
切り替
switch
えられ
between
るの
other
に
puppets' forms, but
どう
why
して
are you
ジークフリ
only
ー
able to
カスラナ
use
さんを
that
演じる
puppet
時
form
は
when switching to
いつ
Siegfried
もあのぬいぐる
Kaslana?
みの姿なんですか
One reason is that using the state of the personality fragment directly is more convenient for me than drawing on a remembered appearance. And the other reason is that you lack clear memories of that man. Don't worry, you have a chance to change this for good. After all, aside from someone from a long time ago, you may be the first human who is completely immune to the negative effects of stigmata.
遠い昔
Someone
にいた
from
あ
a
の
long
人と
time
は
ago. You don't know her, plus the reasons why both of you are unaffected by stigmata must be totally different. Shariak's holy blood, is indeed a genetic mutation that will be the pride of a generation. And to you, the man who revived this bloodline, Otto, is like the real version of himself, the one who indirectly gave you your gifts and powers. They are both very complex indeed. I would not want to be an enemy to either of them if I could help it. But it seems that neither fate nor personal desires allow me to avoid this. It seems that you have to come to view them as enemies, but not with simply hatred. That's good. It's a perfect attitude for all of you. At first I thought the space was some kind of residue in imaginary space, but you said the stigmata space had its own structure and origin. It's really all the same, I think, just from a different perspective. Stigmata and stigmata space are just inadequate failures. She tried to use stigmata to connect human will directly to imaginary space, but the results were not as good as expected. That's why they created Project Stigma, a plan to trade this failure for the future of civilization and humanity. As a side effect, only people like you have the opportunity to present for ages and witness the brutal yet thriving future. We certainly can't accept being wiped out by Honkai, but we also can't accept such a radical plan. I understand, but this is beyond my perception. I am only the will of the stigmata, so I won't oppose any attempt that would be beneficial towards defeating Honkai. But as for the real him, you need to know that his sympathies may not be in the same time dimension as yours. Not in the same time dimension? Sorry, I can't offer any more details. I remember you mentioned that you believed Otto excited me to this space intentionally. The topic was avoided at that time, but I'm still concerned about it. What made you think that? He messed up your genius navigator. You were supposed to come straight here to meet me, but some factor interfered and caused your navigator to lose its original accuracy. Was it the power of the holy blood that you repeatedly mentioned? No, through the holy blood prevented me from meeting you directly. It had nothing to do with the accuracy of the spatial orientation. I mean that your navigator was originally implanted for all sorts of navigational functions, which made Otto unable to make complete, precise adjustments to it. For example, even you carry around two genie, one new and one old, and they will operate in different ways. I see. Rita, you actually got me a reset of amulets. That is to say, the power of Otto, the power of Sumo, and the power of genius, plus your residence with the holy blood created my strange encounter in the space. That's it in a nutshell, so back to your question. I think Otto wanted you to fully inherit the power of Kaslana so that it would be even harder for me to interfere with his plans. It seems that he is trying to probe the imaginary tree for some kind of information related to Kaslana. I bet he does not want me to get entangled in his place under any circumstances. But fully inheriting the power of Kaslana will only strengthen myself to stop his plan. Maybe that's what he's up to. What do you mean? Based on your memory, I'm going to offer a fairly irresponsible assumption. Maybe to him, your actions directly at stopping him from destroying the world give him some kind of purpose. And for this reason, he is bent on configuring his base reality as we speak. Don't give me that confused look. As I said, it's just an irresponsible assumption. The proof of this is that, in his heart, he is completely undecided about the state of affairs. I have no more questions. Very well. Then I will stimulate the power of Kaslana that lies dominant within you. The power is far beyond the limits of ordinary humans. To overcome it and harness it, I suggest that you be the best of yourself. The magic of the man instantly dissipated, leaving only a frigid cold eroding the marrow of the young girl's bones. Hector knew the kingdom would eventually fall, and Achilles was aware that he was on his way to death. But both of them set out on the battlefield without hesitation. The girl concentrated her mind and feels a predetermined path beginning to stretch slowly, solidly beneath her feet like a frozen river. Her flesh is like ice, yet her blood is boiling. The extended path takes her to a dead end where there is only a voice echoing repeatedly in her head. Kill Honkai. Kill Honkai. Kill Honkai. Kill Honkai. Kill, 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 kill. It's okay, my child. This is not your sin, and you don't have to carry this responsibility alone. You can rely on Mommy's strength for a bit at a time like this. Warm blood flows back to her head, and all the madness that flowed in from all sides vanishes into thin air. Her food deprived still stretches beneath her, and the untamed power continues to spill out from her body. Unlike her ancestors, she feels that she possesses an additional ability that enables her to truly control this power. It's silent yet warm, gentle yet powerful. It prevents her from becoming a vessel to unleash the power of vengeance, and it helps her becoming a knight who can live up to her long-held beliefs. She knows that it's momentary yet eternal embrace given to her by her mother from across time. It seems, Jediah, that I have succeeded. No, yet of sin and glory there is one last step to take. Okay, so wait. Ramp into it. Throw it in there. Defeat the banish of this bloodline and prove that you alone belong to yourself and entire new lineage. Okay, so now we just need to prove that we are not bound anymore by this bloodline. Should be relatively easy, I would say, but it seems like. With the dancing of the lance, the husk was put to a halt instantly. The frigidity that engulfed the entire space finally faded away, leaving only personality fragments. Wesley gasped. You passed the trial. You transcended the destiny of salvation and sent it to Equinox as a mere mortal. I couldn't do it alone. I know, but your personal endeavor is not to be overlooked. What is life? Existence that passed on legacy and pushes forward inevitably, forever on the path of progress. So I have to try whose shoulders I stand on to hand. When these giants became threats to the world, I have to stop them as well. At least I need to make sure that questions won't hurt the thriving world of humanity. You don't need to feel conflicted. Stopping the old generation of willful wrongdoing is exactly the purpose of the new. I'm only a personality fragment of Siegfried, but even I can feel his passion. He is a real man and he has passionate young heart that never ages. Your memory has come back. After all, you passed the trial and were set at the space. I return to the real me. By then our memory won't be more than a blurred dream to him. You don't have to be upset about this. At this fleeting final moment, I have one more obligation to you. This the depths of the imaginary space, where magical reactions between spaces occur. Even through all I can do is pass information from the other side to you. Anyway, this is something I have to do for you. This is the hell Kevin endures alone, and the final destruction place for the real Siegfried. He has been trying to escape from the stigma space, but without any hope of awakening, can only shed personality fragments like me. And Kevin's choice was to seal him in there, the place where all his sins condense. There, Kiana. Why are you smiling to me? I was the one that got you killed. Oh, Mr. Siegfried, your daughter, she's alive, she's here. It's one-way communication and he can't hear us, Durandal. I know. But I need to tell myself. One day I make sure he knows of all the regrets in his life. One is just a tasteless joke from fate. That might be the only consolation I can afford now. I seem to have dreamed that dream again. Kiana, your sister who adopted your name. I hope she isn't a disappointment to you. I just pretend someone is listening. When I was young, I never thought that Kaslana name carried such a vicious curse. The stigmata, restrictions, the frozen hell. Anyway, I believe we're helping others and defending the weak with a good heart. Saving the civilization with a good heart. To be honest, if Cecilia and you were still alive, I'd be content to accept anything fate has prepared for me. But you went away like two Kaslanas, leaving me and her behind. So I must stay strong. There's not much hope, but I still got to tell myself, I'm getting out of here, and returning to the kid and telling her I'm alright. This might be the biggest conclusion I can give her now. Looks like I have to. The voice from afar was cut off abruptly. Very soon the worn but still optimistic face vanished from her sight. He's still alive. He still has memories of her. He's still trying to fight for a way to return to his family. It was just a glimpse that he couldn't feel her existence in any way. Still, Durandal felt a huge relief. Not only because he was her father, not only because not long ago she benefited from his teaching. On top of all these reasons, she felt happy for him, a hero with a full life full of regrets. Happy that he was still breathing. Happy that his fighting spirit remained. And perhaps happy that in her blood the Kaslana Persistence still went strong. Oh, looks like this is the end for me.
あなたは
You're going away?
消えるんですか？
Looks that way. Our tie is becoming weaker and weaker. We're about to return to the real end, and you'll be able to return to reality very soon. I can't decide anything in his stead. But if I could, I wish to. Safeguard your future path as family. Witness your life bloom to the fullest. The door was gone, and the last thing it left for Durandal was a torn but pristine picture. On the picture were a man and his daughter. It captured a precious moment of family joy.
何があって
No
も
matter what, Kiana and I
必
are
ず
going to
キアラさん
find
と
you.
一緒にあなたを見つけ出します。私たちのお父さん。
The depths of the imaginary space were silent as night. Durandal looked up to the starless heavens and tried to take in everything she just experienced. She knew there were two battles waiting for her to rejoin. But just when she was relocating, Suma using genius, a calm request from the outside came in. It was a frequency Durandal was familiar a long time ago. It reminded her of the fateful journey 5 years ago. Slightly surprised, she picked up the receiver.
デュランダルです。
This is Durandal. Please speak.
デュランダルさん。
Mr. Durandal.
リタ、
Da, is
あ
that
な
you?
たですか？もちろん
Of
です。
course.
デュ
Are
ランダ
you
ル様。
alright? Did you run into any danger?
あ、
I'm fine.
大丈夫
Sorry
です。
to have you worried.
すみません。いいえ。
Yeah. No, I'm just glad you're okay.
では、
Do you
現在
need a
の状
set
況を
web
報告
from
して
me?
もよろしいでしょうか？ええ、
Thank
お
you.
願いします。
Rita told Durandal what was happening in the reality.
約束の律
Hash
者
of
の力。
Binding's power?
どうやら
Looks like I do need
急
to
い
rush
で戻
back.
らないといけなくなったようです。
That said, the right timing is also crucial. Another voice Durandal had long missed came out from Genius. She was the owner of the frequency who fought side by side with the two Valkyries.
シュレーディンガー
Dr.
博士。
Ströninger? Hi, it's been a while, Bianca. I tried to reach you earlier, but Rita insisted on us keeping it from longer. She was probably worried Otto would see through me right
すぐに
away.
オットー司教にバレてしまうのではない。
Yeah, your mutual trust is amazing. Alright, back to the topic. The face Otto is now wielding the Hash of Binding's power is exactly the reason why the timing for your return matters.
戻る途中で
I'm
あの
worried
力
I
に
might
攻
be
撃され
blocked
る
by
の
the
が
power
心配だから
on
です
my
か？
way back.
それも一つ
That's
の
one of the
理由ですが、
reasons.
もう一つ
On the other side, from what I've learned using Sumaru, Tisa might confront the Hash of Binding's power in a spatial way, which is the zeroth power of Judah.
テレサさんは
She's trying to cancel it out with another force of the same miniature.
その可能性
Probably,
はあ
so
り
you
ます
might be subjected to both forces on your way back, put into greater danger.
そのですが、
But I can't just stay
この
here.
ままここに留まるわけにもいきません。私は
I'm
恵まれて
lucky, I
ます。
was trapped here,
こ
but
の
being
結数
here
空間に閉じ込められましたが、新たな力
led me
を
to
手
a
に
new
入れ、
power and the knowledge that,
そして
no, nothing.
とにかく
Anyway, I'm obligated to finish the Inquisition into the Overseer's true
その
intent.
責任が私にはあります。これは
It's my responsibility as a member of Schicksal. This time it looks like he's going to deny the whole world the right to exist.
このせ分かっています。
See, Master Durandal, you're very
確
convincing.
かにそれは大事です。ですが、
But I do wish you can have faith in Miss Dr. Schrödinger's
信
judgment.
じてくださいませんか？何せ
After all, even from the perspective of fighting the Overseer, she's more determined than the both of
彼
us,
女の立場
right?
は私たちよりずっと
You're right,
リタ
I'm
の
too
言う通りで
hot-headed.
す。いいえ、
It's alright, I
お気持ちは
understand
理
your
解でき
feeling.
ます。それに
And precisely
こういう
because of
状
this,
況だからこそ、デュランダル
we
様
have a
にしか
favor
でき
to
ない
ask,
ことを
one that only you
お
can
願い
help
した
with.
いと思っております。
That was long. 28 underscore. Oof. I didn't imagine that it would take this long. And we only at 53%. I have up to now we are at, I have recorded 3.5 hours in one go. So, but this will definitely be put in 2 parts. Probably the first half of the Kaslana Durandal 3 thing will still be in it. But that's a very long chapter. But yeah. If you enjoyed this video, I would be happy about a like, a sub and a comment. And yeah, I hope I see you in the next episode. This outro will be for both parts, and the intro that I recorded will also be the intro for both parts. So, or was the intro for both parts. So yeah, I hope you can forgive this. I don't know how I would otherwise record an intro so that it seems good. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, I would be happy about a like, a sub and a comment. Yeah, and I see you in the next episode or in the next time when we are going to continue after Durandal. So yeah, see you then.